Hey there, welcome back everybody. It's time for another pickups video today here on How to Lose Your Video Games, and the venue has changed once again. For 2 years I've been doing all this stuff from my apartment in Londonderry. We just moved into this place here in Nashua, and this is my dining room area, so to speak. Over there is the living room. You see the golden tea right there, some DVDs right behind me, some posters, kitchen, board games. This is... Right now, I'm obviously going to do like streams from the living room couch where the whole game setup is and everything. But here we are for the first pickups video, and it is a doozy from the new place. Because not only did I move, which you'd think that I wasn't going to be spending a lot of money on other stuff, but it was also my birthday month, and people got me stuff, or they got me gift cards or money to do stuff with. Oh my god, I just poured this fucking Cayman Jack margarita into this glass and took two sips, and I'm like, I'm sorry I'm doing this. Anyway, God's sake, let's just start off. There's a lot of 3DS, just like there was last month with this, but let's start off with a couple of Switch games, which is always, I think, to most people the most exciting thing. Although I think having a lot of 3DS stuff is probably really exciting too. But anyway, finally picked up 1-2 Switch. This game is not really dropped in value a whole lot, but I have played it before, and I think it's really, really cool. Shows off a lot of the stuff that the Switch does. Like I said, I have played it before. I do think it's fun with people. I still think it should have been a pack-in, or it should have been at a discounted price, not the full $60. Those aren't my decisions to make, but I do think that this game would have been a really big success for Nintendo if they had made it easier to get your hands on it when you bought a Switch. That's just me. I think a lot of the stuff that it does works out really, really well, and I think it's cool and a fun party game, but it should have been more successful, I'll just say. Ghostbusters, the video game, remastered. This was one of my favorite games from the PS3 360 era. It's so good. Great to have a remaster of it, and it's now available on PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Got it for the Switch. It's only $20, which is like what a copy of that game for PS3 or 360 was going for, up until this came out and the PS3 360 prices dropped. I got rid of my 360 copy because I didn't need it. I want this on Switch. It's the legitimate version. If you don't know, there were two versions essentially of the Ghostbusters game when it came out. The PS3 360 version was kind of the true version. It had realistic graphics. It had more focus on combat, which is what they put a lot of the focus into. And then the version that you would see on PS2, PSP, Wii, and DS was a little bit more cartoony, and my understanding is it's a little bit more puzzle-based as well. The true shooter Ghostbusters game that we got was this one, which is now available on all the platforms that it came out for. It's this version here, which is the true version. I highly recommend this game. It's so good. And if you're at all interested in Ghostbusters, I think you've heard this a million times if you've heard of that game. It's the third Ghostbusters movie. It really is. It is a full voiced, fully written out by Dan Aykroyd. It's brilliant. Brilliant game. Brilliant entry in the Ghostbusters franchise. Really awesome. Like I said, moving on, I got some birthday presents, including 2 Point Hospital from my boss and good friend Matt, of course. I think he said he's been playing this. It's really fun and really goofy. Essentially, a sequel to Theme Hospital, or a follow-on to Theme Hospital from 25 years ago on the PC from Bullfrog. This is a Sega-published goofy hospital sim. I have not opened it because I just right now don't feel like doing anything involving a hospital or running a hospital or anything like that right now. But I have seen a lot of really positive reception for this game, so I'm really glad that I have it. Good stuff there. Next, Spongebob, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Now, my heart breaks a little bit for this game because my understanding is that it just came out, this remake for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and it's just not that great as a remake, but you didn't need to remake it. I think that's just what the issue is. I think if you just look at this as providing a new way for people to play this, putting a little bit of polish on it, which it didn't really need in the first place. I think the polish, I agree with a lot of people that it's really, putting the polish on it is not really necessary. It makes it look less charming than the original. But anyway, just a really, really good SpongeBob game. Like, I highly recommend playing this in any capacity you can get it in. But a lot of the hype surrounding it is from the originals, and I do think the originals are going to be the superior version. So unlike the Ghostbusters game, I'm hanging on to my original version because of what I heard about this one. And the Switch one is even a little bit weaker than the PS4, Xbox One ones, which is a huge bummer. But as a game I really like this much, I did still want to have this, and I want to play the new version and see how it is. And then lastly, for Switch, I actually had totally forgotten about this game, and I went into Walmart, actually, braved going to Walmart to look at if they had Paper Mario Origami King, which I ended up not getting anyway and not really bothering with. But they had My Friend Pedro for $20, which is what I was waiting for it to be to pick it up, and I totally forgot about it. But there it was, yeah, My Friend Pedro, $20, cool. Having played Super Hot now, I kind of have something to compare this to. Super Hot gunplay, they call it gun ballet, which is really kind of an appropriate thing. It's a very deliberate movement, deliberate planning out of, it's sort of like solving a puzzle, but like with a shootout going on. And this is more like a 2D style, but I've heard it's really, really cool. It's from Devolver, who make the type of games that I really like, because they're very, very stylish like shooters. They're not gritty shooters. They're very, fun and loose and very, very cool. Like, so looking forward to giving that a shot. That'd be fun. I was gonna do the things I have like one or two of, and then we'll cap off with the 3DS stuff. I have just one DS game, Air Traffic Chaos, just because it reminds me of Aerobiz from the Super Nintendo. I don't know if this is... I think it's supposed to be good, just like a sim type of game that I don't know if it would hold my interest for that long, because it's air traffic controller stuff. But if it wasn't for the fact that Aerobiz is a game that exists, I wouldn't really care that much. Oh, did I forget one? I think I forgot a GameCube game. I could swear. I think I pulled it out. I'll go grab it when I get the GameCube stuff. It's just right over there. PS1. Speed Punks. Cool, stylish, cartoony kart racer for the PS1. I've heard good things about it. It's I think it's a second-party developer on here, Funcom. It's a PlayStation 1 exclusive. That's what I know about it. I've heard good things about this. Kart racer. If it's any good, yeah, sign me up. Galaga Destination Earth. Was always kind of not really into a lot of the PS1 era remakes of a lot of the old arcade games, because I don't think they typically have that much substance to them. But I did look at Galaga Destination Earth, and it's got more like a Star Fox like corridor style to it. So even if I don't really have the highest expectations for it, but I will say that if it looks like Star Fox, I'm willing to give it a shot. So yeah, that's essentially why I picked that up. I also have Galaga 3, the Japanese import one, too. So that should be really cool if I try Galaga 3 and Galaga Destination Earth, which are different games, is my understanding. It'd be cool to see those. And then finally, how do you not laugh at this game and see how ridiculous in late 90s this is? This is Bugriders. It is a racing game actually developed by N-Space, who did the late 90s Duke Nukem games, and eventually would go on to do Geist for the GameCube, which is a really, really cool game that I have a definite appreciation for. Oh, ridiculous. Dropping shit. Same ridiculous, horrible disc artwork on here. Just a bug's eye. That was terrible. Anyway, let's just put that there so we don't break it. I'm drunk already. No, I'm not. I'm not even remotely drunk. Pool Paradise. And another GameCube game. That was over here. Yeah. I left that on top of the GameCube games. I got two GameCube games. Two GameCube games here. Pool Paradise. Why would you buy a pool game? I guess because I've heard it's really, really interesting and as good as a pool game is ever going to get. Published by Ignition. Developed in some way by Arthur McLean, who did like Mercury and stuff. It's just a wild and really weird game. And as far as GameCube stuff, which is going crazy right now, didn't even go that much up in price. So I thought I would pick it up. I told Matt he wasn't there the day that this came off the shelf and went to go out, and I ended up picking it up. But I didn't know this was in the store at all. I didn't know it was there. And I picked up Pool Paradise because it'd come up front, it was cleaned, it was ready to go, and I picked it up and I went, oh, Pool Paradise! And I immediately pulled up my phone and texted him and I said, I'm sorry you weren't here. You just missed the only time you would ever hear anybody say, ooh, Pool Paradise. And he said, was it me? Did you say it? And I said, of course I said it. Who else would say that? Pool Paradise. Great stuff. And then this is, I actually have a couple more for the 3DS stuff that has printed cases, but this is a case I printed, which I have not really wanted to do a lot, but I was really holding back on picking up this game until I found a legit copy, but it's, like with everything else GameCube is going up right now. Groom Adventure is Billy and Mandy, which is one of my favorite cartoons, and this game's just not that great. It's a weird, like, 3D brawler, like the Tom and Jerry game, where it's kind of like feels like it's ripping off Power Stone, but if they knew what Power Stone was, they'd still do it better than that. So that's about all I can say. I just wanted it because it's Billy and Mandy, and that's it. And I held up for GameCube, and I was like, okay, I'm just grabbing this disc only that we have here, and I'm printing the cover for it, and that's gonna be it for now. That's all I'm doing right now. One 360 game, but not bought a lot of 360 games recently, but this is Fight Night Champion, which is a game that people have been like crazy about, from my understanding. I'm not huge into boxing or anything like that, but I do appreciate if boxing games are done well, and this is a game that is a lot like the NBA Live story mode, or the Madden 18 story mode, or any of the 2Ks or FIFAs, any of that stuff that has sports games with story modes now. This is kind of like the genesis of that, especially for EA, because this is a, like, build it up from the streets like a real, like, cinematic style boxing game with a campaign. So that's really cool, and I've heard people, like, really rave about this game, and so I definitely would be interested in checking this one out. It's also the last Fight Night that they made. And people are still really, really into it, so that's cool. I've just one NES game, and I picked this up for a really weird reason. It's bases loaded, and it's in the box. And I was thinking to myself one day, with all the baseball stuff, like, I pick up baseball games, especially old ones, because I do like to check them out. And, way back, this would be at least a couple years ago now, when I was, like, building my collection by buying lots and stuff. And I would buy lots for anything. I would buy lots for anything cartridges, especially N64, because I was building that collection. And I thought to myself, and I was like, how did I never get a copy of Bases Loaded? I think there are more copies of Bases Loaded than there are for any game on the NES, save for Mario 1, 2, 3, or Mario Duck Hunt, or 2 or 3. And I never got any version of Bases Loaded. I don't own any version of Bases Loaded for not just NES, but for Super, for Game Boy, for anything like that. And it's still a wildly cheap complete in box. So we had a nice complete in box one, and I was like, you know what? Just to say that I've experienced the Bases Loaded series and I own something from there, here's a nice complete in box Bases Loaded in my collection now. On the contrary to Bases Loaded, which is very cheap complete in box, this is a Genesis game that I picked up that I have wanted for several years now. Lightning Force, Quest for the Darkstar. First, I will point out, yes, I don't consider this to be spelled right. It is not necessarily like you could say, oh, well, they're saying, like, lightening is a word. I don't think that's the word that they're trying to use here. It's lightning, as in the weather effect. Anyway, getting past that, Lightning Force, on a system that is loaded with great shooters, Lightning Force, or Thunder Force 4, essentially, is one of the best I've ever seen. It blows me away with what it does on the Genesis. I think it's awesome. It's just from the Thunder Force series. It's not made by Renovation. It's not a first party one. It's not by I think it's Seismic. I think Seismic are the guys that made like Musha, and I think they made Curse as well. I could be wrong about that. It's not from any of those guys, but Thunder Force is a really, really great series. Any game from the Thunder Force series is awesome, but this one is fantastic. Have to have it. It was it's easily the most expensive thing on this table. It would have been the most expensive thing on this table if I had bought a brand new game this month. Like, I don't spend that much on one game very often, but I wanted this. I had to have this for the first time, seeing it in like 4 years. I can't get that one, but I'll do the last two non-handheld ones here. Two Wii games here. Mario Party 8, and, I'll do the Mario Party 8 after. Roogoo Twisted Towers, which is just a goofy, like, platformy, puzzly game. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I've heard decent stuff about this. It was cheap. I think it was actually on the general getting rid of stuff rack at Bull Moose, and I was like, yeah, for $3 I'll try Roogoo. Roogoo goo goo goo. But then there's also Mario Party 8, which I got on a claim sale on Instagram for a really good price. So, as a Mario Party game that I didn't own, I definitely had to pick up. I think I paid $20 for this, which is really good. And thank you to Jackrabbit Gamer for having a good claim sale with good prices and everything. And I was glad to pick this up. Mario Party 8 specifically is one that I have played a lot, and the reason is because I think after we got our Wii, and it was my birthday in 2007, so July 2007, we really wanted Wii Sports. We thought it was the coolest thing we'd ever seen. Me and my sister and my parents were also, saw Wii Sports, and were like, that's okay, I'll try that. And then we wanted Mario Party 8 because we liked Mario Party. We always liked Mario Party 1 and 2 on the 64 when we had it, and I never really had Mario Parties for the GameCube. But then when the Wii came along, it was like, oh, there's a Mario Party game. We'll get Mario Party 8. So we did play this a lot. And at the time, we didn't think it was that great as far as Mario Party games go. And I think a lot of that came from the fact that the Wii, motion controls and stuff didn't really make a huge impact outside of games like Wii Sports. But you don't know what you got till it's gone, because 9 and 10 came out when they changed developers to ND Cube. And oh lord, if you could go back and have Mario Party 8 again when 9 and 10 came out, yeah, would definitely deeply appreciate this game now. Even though Super Mario Party is out on the Switch now, and that game is awesome. It needs more boards, but it's awesome. Mario Party 8 is probably the last really good one until Super Mario Party. So yeah, if you're picking between 8 and 9, pick 8. Definitely. Cool. Couple of things for the Game Boys. In addition to a 3DS kick, they go hand in hand. I am also on a huge Kirby kick. I actually have been buying a lot of Kirby games, and you'll see several Kirby games in this pickups video as well, including the 3DS ones, which are coming. However, before we get on to that, Kirby's Pinball Land for the Game Boy original. One of his many spin-off games, because they never really make Kirby spin-off games. They just take a game and they put Kirby on it if he vaguely fits, and he does fit as a pinball because he's a ball shape. But other than that, nothing really that special about this game. It's Kirby, and I like pinball games. So yeah, definitely still want to pick that up. And then as a card only for Game Boy Advance, definitely wanted to snag this before it went up anymore. But Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, a main series Kirby title, very important to have. One of 2 on the Game Boy Advance, along with Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland, which I got in box. Awesome, off of Declutter. Actually, I was really happy to snag this. I didn't think I would get it. So these are the 2 Game Boy Advance Kirby games. This is the new main series game. Didn't actually need Nightmare and Dreamland as much because I own the Kirby Dream Collection for the Wii, which has all the main series early games, which is really good package. But Nightmare and Dreamland is essentially a remake of Adventure, the first the NES Kirby game. So I didn't really think I needed that as much, but if I'm going to get this in a box, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to snap that up right now. So really wanted Amazing Mirror, but ended up getting even more Kirby games than I planned on. Frogger's Adventures, Temple of the Frog. I know Nitro Red is doing a whole series right now about these 2000s Frogger games. I have been told for a long time, though, that Frogger's Adventures, Temple of the Frog, which I should point out which one of those it is if you see the card only. It's this one right here with the snake on it and the red background. I've heard good things about this game, other than just from Nitro Red. I've a friend that really likes this game. So completing box 1 right here. Definitely want to snag that as something that I probably should have picked up a long time ago at somebody's specific recommendation. And then GameBoy Watch Gallery 4 for the Game Boy Advance. Also very cool. I'm not super into getting the Game & Watch Gallery stuff because it's like arcade collections for older arcade games. Like, it's really cool to have all of them available, but like, you can't put too much stock into Game & Watch stuff because it is very, very simple. It's LCD games. So there's 6 here, but there's also the modernized versions here on the Game Boy Advance as well. So you can see, like, they're still going to be pretty simplistic, but you'll get... I'm just trying to find the actual name. That's boxing. It's just boxing. But you see on the back here, there's the old school boxing, and then they made updated graphics, and there's Luigi fighting Wiggler, actually, in a boxing match with Wiggler. So that's actually pretty cool. So I am glad to have the Game Boy Advance one here for Game & Watch Gallery 4. So that's cool stuff. And then let's wrap it up with a big rundown. A big rundown of lots of 3DS games. To start with, I printed some labels for some of these over here. So like you can see this black case right here. That's a game I ended up getting loose and printed a cover for. I could not find, for the life of me though, any cover I could print for your boy, Jake Hunter. Jake Hunter Detective Story Ghost of the Dusk. One of, there's more than one of these type of games on here, but a adventure, mystery, crime game published by Axis, so I think they're actually supposed to be really good. So I grabbed that. This and a couple of other games that were loose here I grabbed on a GameStop sale that was like buy one, get one free. So I kind of tried to clean them out of a little bit of 3DS stuff that they had priced really cheap. But I got what I paid for and didn't get cases. I got 0 for 4 on cases, which was a real bummer. I thought maybe I'd get 1 or 2. But no, not this time, not with 3DS games. Whatever. Learn my lesson. Or do I? But anyway, to continue with games I actually do have cases for, printed or non, I didn't really think I needed to get a Monster Hunter game, but I did end up picking one up because they're actually so cheap at this point. 4 Stories isn't that cheap, but 4 Ultimate, 3 Ultimate, and Generations are all 15 or under. So as a game series that defines the 3DS, I think I really should have one. And Generations seems to be sort of a greatest hits one. So I checked. Some people said to get 4. Some people said to get Generations. As a non-main series one that isn't numbered, I figured, okay, I'll get Generations, especially if you consider it a greatest hits sort of thing. And I didn't want to get 3 Ultimate because I have that on the Wii U. Next, I have sort of one of the weakest Zelda titles you'll see out there. This is Zelda Triforce Heroes. This game flopped pretty hard when it came out, along with Metroid Federation Force, which I do not have yet. I may pick that up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But this game was real cheap for a Zelda game, so you know what? Throw it in the collection because it's Zelda. It's a game I printed. Yoshi's New Island. I've heard okay things about this game, but considering I finally played Yoshi's Island for the first time and beat it not that long ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. I did think, you know what? I have Yoshi's Island I don't know if I have Yoshi's Island DS, but I have Yoshi Touch and Go, which is not the same thing now that I'm thinking about it. But Yoshi's New Island, a sort of main series Yoshi, a traditional Yoshi-style game. I will throw that in the collection for sure. Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits version, not Fleshy Souls edition. I remember buying my 2DS and being excited about the fact that it came with a download of Yokai Watch because I never thought that game would be cheap. And I don't think Yokai Watch 3 is ever going to be cheap. I'm surprised that even came out over here. But it just seems that Yokai Watch 1 and 2, they're really good games. But I didn't really take to them, and I don't think there's enough interest in them to really keep their value up. So I've got 1, and now I've got one of the versions of 2, and I give them another shot at some point for sure. It's Pokemon made by Level 5 with yokai, like Japanese spirits. And it's got a cult following at this point. It's really well received by some people. It's never going to be Pokemon, so. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, a new Nintendo 3DS exclusive. I I still can't see myself like sitting down and being like, yes, I'm gonna get into Xenoblade Chronicles X right now on the Wii U. A game that I think is super cool, and I know it's supposed to be really good, even though it's kind of the black sheep of that now trilogy, or trilogy and a half, if you count Golden Country. But this game is so tremendously well received that even if I don't necessarily see myself playing it for the 100 hours or so that most people will if they get into it, I did think, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on the 3DS, which is now very cheap, compared to, the definitive edition that is still going to be a $60 game and probably will be for a long time, or that, or the original version on the Wii, which is probably going to be a collector's item for a while, if not forever. So, cheap version of Xenoblade Chronicles, might as well grab it, definitely. River City Tokyo Rumble, I continue to obtain River City Kunio-kun games without actually sitting down and buckling down and playing them. I just think that the beat-em-ups that they have, they're very cool, they're very good, they're very charming, and I want to get them, even though I have a lot of games in that series to actually pick from and play. Fire Emblem Warriors, this is a German cover because I got this loose because I bought it through GameStop for it was like $10 priced on the website, and again, buy one get one. I got several games for like $5 to $8 on average if you average that out. So, but also a new 3DS exclusive one right here. I know that people haven't really been into Fire Emblem Warriors that much, because it's kind of like taking everything that makes Fire Emblem and kind of making it a dumbed down version of itself. It's Dynasty Warriors, and I tried to play, even if you take Hyrule Warriors, which I said, it'll be all this Zelda-like characters and settings and accoutrement and all that stuff, but I won't have to think as hard as a real Zelda game. I still really want to play a real Zelda game. Once I played it, I was like, I'd rather feel like a Zelda game than take all of the stuff and throw it somewhere else. I'm not saying the Hyrule Warriors or Fire Emblem Warriors aren't good games, but the mindset that I had that I thought I might really get into it doesn't really pan out. You end up feeling like you'd rather have that. So a game that, to just add that to, this is probably cool, this is probably fun, this is everything like that, but I fully acknowledge it's not really Fire Emblem. But I will learn characters if I ever play that. Detective Pikachu, the game, very cool. I haven't really looked into it. I'm trying to figure out if this just follows the plot of the movie, which would be kind of lame, because I know how everything goes. There's a lot more stuff than even if it does follow the movie. But anyway, another point-and-click adventure game, essentially, although this one is Pokemon. Just Pokemon Company did this. And Pokemon Company, Game Freak Creatures. Yeah, nothing outsourced, really. Detective Pikachu. What a tangled web we weave with Cubic Ninja. Wild to see this game now not worth anything anymore. I don't know if y'all know about this game, Cubic Ninja. 6 years ago, not long after I started working at the store, I remember Cubic Ninja for the 3DS, which would have only been out for 3 years at that point, and was very, very current and topical system. I remember a loose copy of Cubic Ninja going in the bargain bin. And it was a shame, because both Matt and I had said we would play that game. That game looks kind of fun. Flash forward to 2 years after that. Cubic Ninja Complete is worth $80, because you can use it to hack your 3DS through a loophole, backdoor, whatever the fuck you call it, similar to a black box copy of Splinter Cell for the original Xbox, and something for the Wii U. I forget exactly what game it is. I know there's a game on the Wii U that's like that, and it's something. It's much like this. It's something you wouldn't really expect. But even the eShop version, apparently, you can do it through it. Apparently. Now we're in 2020. and hacking your 3DS is not really that big of a deal anymore. And Cubic Ninja is once again basically worthless. So here I am. I have it, and I might actually play it. It's a sort of like gyroscope, tilty puzzle game. Find your way to the exit with gyro controls. Worth a try. Oh god, I'm even buying launch title, basically shovelware. Asphalt 3D. You may have seen Asphalt games for the DS. I think there's 4 of them on the original DS. But they made sure to get Asphalt 3D out for the launch of the 3DS. It is a very basic looking racing title for the 3DS, but it launched early and is now super cheap to find, and I just said, you know what? It's got real cars and licenses and stuff, and it's might have some redeeming qualities. Throw it in there for, like, I think I paid $7 for it. The last of the printed cases, Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack from Yacht Club Games and Inti Creates. Inti Creates having done Bloodstained, and they did something else really big. Dragon Mark for Death. So they're very good at 2D action games. If you're not familiar with this series, it's sort of like a Mega Man revival that, in the way that Mighty Number 9 should have been. This is a 2-pack of games from Inti Creates of that style with this character. And this game is cheap on the 3DS for the reason that a couple of other games are cheap on the 3DS, because it's now on the Switch, and that's the version that people would want to buy. But I picked it up for 3DS because I'm not into it enough that I'd be like, well, I have to play it on the Switch. Just kind of adding it to the collection because it looks like a cool game, but I don't know when I'd get to it. James Noir's Hollywood Crimes, still a dirt cheap, budgety title, published by Ubisoft also. It's not even like these are published by South Peak or anything like that. They're published by fucking Ubisoft. James Noir's Hollywood Crimes, another puzzle-focused adventure game, solve crimes and stuff. That type of game that I really like. Just even if it's just to have, and I don't play them very often because they take a lot of time and brain power. And then lastly, to cap this very long, very prolific pickups video off, Kirby's. We love him. We have here on the 3DS Kirby Battle Royale, which is a spin-off that I think they also now do like Clash. It's Kirby Fighters Clash or something like that. They spun this game off. I'm not actually sure exactly what the gameplay in this is like, other than it's more like an arena-style battling game than a true Kirby game. It's not a first mainline series Kirby game. I know that. Anyway, so that's what Battle Royale. We have Kirby Triple Deluxe, the first main series Kirby game on the 3DS, which is supposed to be really solid, good, middle of the road as far as the Kirby main series. And then I was implored to buy Kirby Planet Robobot, which seems to be one of the highest reviewed and most praised games on the 3DS in general, and one of the highest praised games in the Kirby series. So really, really looking forward to that one. Very glad to have it. Very glad to be adding so much to this 3DS collection. A console that I never really put a lot of stock into, even when it was new and I had it, and now I'm just loading up on games for it while they're at their cheapest, because they're getting ported. Nobody seems to really want them when you could just get a Switch, and Switch is portable. So yeah, it's been a good time to buy 3DS games. If we were counting, that was 1, 2, 3. Excuse me again, 4, 5, 6, 7. 15 3DS games added to the collection this month, and then a bunch of other shit. Cool stuff. I will see y'all again next month, maybe with some more 3DS stuff. We'll find out. Have to also get back into the groove of the N64 quest, which I haven't done in a little while. Might not get to that today. I might save that for Friday, when I will be playing Gex 3 and finally starting that. But I am settling in over here, just getting used to my new game setup and enjoying that. And yeah, Gex 3 will be the next game. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I might be saving that for Friday, but it will be there. Well, that's what's on the docket over here. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's a good time. I'm going to go lay on my couch, play a game maybe, I don't know. Peace out.